live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, I greatly appreciate it. Anybody watching the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Sorry, I'm a little behind. I know, I already see the comments. Tyler is late. Yeah, sorry, I set up the stream and then I had to go take care of something real quick. But we're here. We're ready to go. And sorry about that. Sorry that we're a little behind. But back-to-back wins. You know, I said it in the breakdown video where I was like, you know, Ja Morant and guys being out kind of worries me more than other guys because Lakers love to play down to their competition. Look, it's really hard to beat any team. I don't care how bad they are in succession. You know, 2 games in a 3-day span. So I'll take the win. I'm glad the Lakers were able to get that W. I'm glad that the Lakers were able to handle their business. You know, ideally, I would have liked it in a better fashion, but I'm not going to complain. First win streak in when was the last win streak, right? Like we've just kind of been trading games, feels like for the last month or so. So gladly we'll take this win. You know, I like the intensity to start the game. I thought everybody was really intense. Like Memphis was just hitting shots to their credit. Even Luka was active, right? Aldama like hit the ball off his face because he like trapped him in the corner. I thought they did a really good job of just staying aggressive and providing that energy and that effort early on. And then it felt like they just kind of stopped, right? And then they like picked it back up in the fourth, which look, Lakers are the best defense in the league in the fourth quarter in crunch time. Lakers once again undefeated in crunch time, 12-0 in crunch time. I love, like I said it before, if I just showed you the stat, like if you had no idea, if you hadn't watched a game this season, and I just showed you kind of the Lakers stats, right? Like I could convince you that this is the best team in all of basketball. But if you watch the games, it's like, right? Like it's like they struggle against the good team. So, you know, I'd like to see the Lakers kind of get some more convincing wins here. That would be kind of nice to see a little more convincing, but nonetheless, look, I'll take the wins where we can get them. Again, Lakers have done a really good job of beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. I'd like the intensity to pick up outside of just the fourth quarter, right? Because like that's the problem is these other games against these other teams that are good, it's never even crunch time fourth quarter, right? The game's already over by the time we enter the third. So I want to see the Lakers bring that effort intensity. I really like that Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt, and Jake LaRavia with either Luka or LeBron or and then Ayton, right? I just think part of the problem too is like Ayton's having to defend out on the perimeter a lot. You see him and drop and chasing around guys and stuff like that, right? Like so, a lot of his a lot of his rebounding numbers, I feel like a lot of that is he's not able to help on the inside because he's chasing around because they're kind of just switching everything, which when we get some athletes and stuff and some real two-way guys that can actually defend at a high level, my hope is that the Lakers can kind of like, they won't need Ayton to defend out on the perimeter as much. He can kind of hold it down more around at or and around the rim. Because right now that's the problem is like, you kind of need him out there to size his length and athleticism, his ability to stay in front of guys. But, I once again, Jake LaRavia proves why he needs to start. I mean, Jake LaRavia, look, I said it a while ago. Jake LaRavia is our best two-way guy. He is. He's our best two-way player. Right? He's very young, so we got to keep in mind, like, he's not going to give you 26 a night. He's going to have some good games. He's going to have some bad games, right? He's going to have some moments. But since he started, man, and this actually dates back to the beginning of the season, because remember, Jake LaRavia was starting games early in the season too, because we had guys out and stuff. LeBron was out, so we saw a lot more LaRavia. He's been really good when he starts, right? And so to me, it's like, I think it's a no-brainer. Even when Rui and guys come back, let Jake LaRavia be your starter. Let Jake LaRavia be that two-way guy. His hustle, his grit, his defense, his versatility, especially when he's hitting shots the way that he is, right? Like you look at this game, he's 9 of 16, 4 of 10 from the field, grabbed 5 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 26 points. He's a plus 15, highest plus minus guy on the team because he just impacts the game. He just does all the dirty work and the intangibles. And he's always, even if he doesn't get the rebound, he's always in the mix, right? He's always in the thick of it, which I love to see. Jake LaRavia is just, I don't know how you take him out of the starting lineup now, right? Like ideally, right? I think you still get that two-way guy. I mean, I would, if you could get, say, a Wiggins, I would go Luka, Wiggins, Jake LaRavia, LeBron James, and DeAndre Ayton. Problem is, the Lakers aren't going to do that. They're going to go with Austin Reeves in the starting lineup. But it's just, Jake LaRavia just gives you so much in that starting unit. The hustle, the rebounding, the grit, the defense, his ability to stretch the floor, and teams have to contest it and worry about it. Otherwise, he can get a shot off. And again, he's very young, which is, like I said, you got to keep in mind some of the inconsistencies he might have over the course of the season, but he's also only going to get better and improve, right? He's only going to get more comfortable and more confident out there. So I'm really excited to kind of see his progression as we continue this year, especially if he can, if he can kind of stay in that starting unit. Again, if the Lakers pull off a trade for clear-cut starter, which I don't know if they're going to be able to. Right? Hornets aren't really trying to trade Herb Jones or Trey Murphy this season, it seems like. And so, like, outside of Andrew Wiggins, there really isn't that clear-cut starter guy. So, to me, go get those second-tier guys and just leave Jake LaRavia in the starting unit and just let him kind of continue to be that, like, the Rui piece that we need, right? Like, if Rui could defend and hit shots, that's what Jake LaRavia is giving you right now. Imagine if Rui could play the defense and rebound and hustle the way that Jake LaRavia has been doing. Again, we wouldn't even need a starter. So if Jake LaRavia can continue to play to this level, I just think you need to keep him in. And again, I'm not saying he has to go and give you 26 a night, but if he can average, Rui's averaging what, like 13 off the top of my head. So if Jake LaRavia can give you basically 13 points a night, grab, 5-6 rebounds a night, and then defend the way he's defending, I don't know why you would bring Jake LaRavia off the bench even when Rui Hachimura gets back. But LeBron James once again was spectacular. This game he was really good. Like again, he's doing like my problem. I talked about this several games ago, right? And I even did a video about it. LeBron James and Luka Doncic, them not taking care of the basketball. You had 1 turnover from LeBron, and then Luka had 3, which is great for him. I kind of like it in that like 2-3 range, just because he is so high usage. He is, handling the ball so much. It's going to turn the ball over. So they took care of the basketball, but also LeBron James in particular has been the last few games last 2 games, really, these Memphis games, really done a lot of the margin stuff, right? Like you look at it, right? Remove the score. He gave you 26 points, which is great, but he gave you 7 rebounds and 10 assists. And he was controlling the game in several areas and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that I've talked about, right? Like I like LeBron, how many games did we see early on where he was only giving you, 3 rebounds and like 4 assists? It's like, that's not LeBron. Like, obviously the scoring and stuff like that, but we need LeBron to do some of the marginal stuff to really kind of help this team. And he's done such a great job these last 2 games. He's been brilliant these last 2 games. And I'm not even talking about the scoring. Obviously, the scoring has been great. Him giving you, what do you have, 27 last game and 26 this game. So he's been brilliant in all the other areas too. And buying in on the defensive side, rotating, hustling. Even, like I said, Luka Doncic, he was doing a much better job on the defensive side of things. He gave you 36, 9, and 8, gave you what he usually gives you, shot efficient, 50% from the field, 40% from 3-point range, 92% from the free throw line. But he also at least was giving you the effort on the defensive side. Luka Doncic, he's not going to be a great elite defensive player. Like no one should expect him to be absolute clamps, but it's at least try, at least pretend, right? Like I say all the time, give the, where you at least pretend like you're trying to play defense out there. But I thought he was doing a much better job. Again, the team as a whole kind of got laxed in that second, like towards the end of the first, to start the second. And then I felt like in spots of the third, and they really kind of picked it up towards the end of the third and the fourth. But I'd like we need to put together consistency. And that's where I think those kind of second tier guys, if we can get those, we might be able to have that consistency, because when we send our guys out, and we're not so reliant on, Jared Vanderbilt, Marcus Smart, and Jake LaRavia, and they have to play 40 minutes a night because we don't have anybody else. You get those other guys, if they can have that impact, well, then now you can kind of balance the minutes better and whatnot. But again, really, really solid game from the Lakers. I liked it. Obviously, I talked about this month, very good month for the Lakers. I mean, there's 2-3 games maybe you could look at and go like Lakers might lose those games. Outside of that, I thought that I think that they should win most of them. Last kind of guys I want to talk about, Nick Smith Jr. Again, just the inconsistencies, right? It's what I've talked about. He's young, he's inexperienced, right? He's gonna have a game where he gives you 20. He's gonna have a game where he gives you nothing. 0-4 from the field, played 15 minutes. Dalton Connect continues. Like, he hit his first shot, it was like yes, and then just couldn't find a three to save his life after that, which was a little disappointing. Jared Vanderbilt is just, that dude just so impressive, man. He's just everywhere. He just does so much. He impacts this game and this team so much. It's been very impressive. But anyway, let's get into all the super chat questions, all the regular chat questions, all of that stuff. Real quick, hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button for me. Let's dive into it. I love Jake. Yeah, he is, again, I don't know how you go from that to, hey, let's get Rui back in the starting unit. Again, I love Rui, but he doesn't give you the margins and intangibles that Jake LaRavia gives you, right? Especially when LaRavia is giving you shots. The thing that I talk about all the time, right? Like, is take away the offense, right? Because there's games where Rui doesn't shoot well or doesn't get the offensive opportunity. Take away the offense. What does Rui give you that Jake LaRavia doesn't? And I can name several things that Jake LaRavia gives you that Rui doesn't, right? You could argue Rui's the better offensive player, better shooter, whatever, right? That's fine. But when Rui doesn't get, 8 field goal attempts or whatever, 10 field goal attempts, and, he's not giving you 15 points or whatever, what else is he giving you? He's not great rebounder. He's not giving you the defense. He's stuck in the mud a lot. Like, it's just, Jake LaRavia just gives you so much more. Right? Again, you take away the offense. Jake LaRavia gives you the defense, the rebounding, the hustle, the grit, right? You never question what he's doing. He's always in the action that's going on, right? Like, it's impressive. 12-0 in clutch. If we can get there. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's something that I've talked about, right? I mentioned it earlier when I was doing my little intro, right? Like, if I just showed you the stats of the Lakers and how they've been this season, right? Like, they're on pace to win 53 games, and I think it's 53 games, but they're on pace to win 53 games. Best clutch team in all of basketball, 12-0, 95% win rate when leading through 3 quarters, right? Luka, LeBron, right? Like, if I just start listing all this stuff, you're like, man, that's the best team in basketball. Then if I'm like, yeah, here, let me show you some stuff, then you're like, oh, okay. Like, it's one of those days, right? I love Rui, but Jake should replace Rui in the starting lineup. Yes, 100%. And again, I'm okay with keeping, like, if Rui can buy in to Rui, something I've talked about very heavily. If you get that clear-cut starter, it slots everyone else in. But I've talked about Lakers have the bandages already on this team, right? You just got to find the right configuration. Right? Jake LaRavia moving from the bench to the starter unit gives you that defensive influx. And then now Rui gets to drop down into that 6-man role. Now he gets to play that kind of scorer role. He can play more 4, which is his natural position, because he can be the primary backup to LeBron James. You can still play him at the 3 at times. I mean, the way that this roster is shaked up right now, you're not really running positions anyway, right? You just kind of have 5 guys out there, and for position's sake, you're really doing it for defensive purposes, right? So to me, I just think Rui can be more of a focal point, get him more involved offensively, right? Like, if he can give you 13 to 15 off the bench, that's huge for the Lakers and the bench scoring. So good win, boys. Yes, exactly. I will take the back-to-back wins any way that we can get them. Trade idea. Lakers get Aaron Gordon and Tim Hardaway Jr. for Austin Reeves and Maxi Kleber. I would love Aaron Gordon on this team. Tim Hardaway Jr. I could do without. Personally, I wouldn't do that trade, though. I just don't think you're maximizing Austin Reeves. And the problem is if you bring in Aaron Gordon, which isn't he hurt? He's out for like a month or so. But um, problem is you bring in Aaron Gordon. Now you have to have LeBron play the three, be your starting three. And I just, at this stage of his career, at his age, being in all this, like he has trouble at times at the four, right? On the weak side. So I just, him having to navigate screens all game and having to be in the strong side of the action and having to basically anchor the defense on the strong side. Like it's just, you're asking a lot from LeBron James at this age, right? You're either going to wear him down or you're going to end up getting him hurt. So personally, I wouldn't do that. And I don't, and to be honest, I don't think Aaron Gordon is the best maximization of Austin Reeves. Again, I'm not against trading Austin Reeves, but you really have, it has to be something where you're like, okay, that you can see that, right? Like the future, not like Aaron Gordon's kind of more of like a right now. Plus, I don't think Denver would do that. LeBron was closing out on all the opponent shots. He had high effort high effort tonight. Sorry. But it's the Grizz. We have their number. I want to point light to the fact that the Suns beat OKC tonight. So us losing to them isn't so bad. Yeah. I mean, look, OKC is very beatable. Suns have been really Suns have been surprisingly good. Like, I don't think they're a contender or anything. Like, I don't think they're going anywhere, but I do think that team, if they like made a couple solid moves, could be pretty tough. Like, honestly, if I'm the Suns, I don't hate the idea of them making a push to go get Anthony Davis, right? And have, I mean, Devin Booker, Dylan Brooks, Anthony Davis, and Mark Williams, and the way Mark Williams has been defending this year, that could be something that really puts the Suns in a great spot. And like, if I'm Phoenix, I'd be trying to get in that conversation, right? Like, what do you have to give up to get Anthony Davis? But yes, as far as LeBron, again, he was brilliant. He's been, these last two games, he's been very good at, again, just the margin stuff. That's what we need, right? Like, obviously right now we could use his scoring because we don't have Reeves and Rui and stuff like that. But when those guys get back, I hope LeBron still sticks to the margin stuff, right? He can drop back down to 19 or whatever. Like, I'm not worried about the scoring. I'm worried about it. Again, like, we need LeBron not to have three assists and 3 rebounds. You know what I mean? We should make every game a clutch game. Yeah, if only, right? Jake is going to prosper so well. Yeah. And the thing that's crazy is, like, he's still so young, right? Like, he's what, 23? So, I mean, he's a piece that the Lakers could have for quite some time. Got him for another year, right? So it's going to be interesting to see, how he progresses the rest of this season and then into the next season. How much the Lakers going to have to pay him in 2 years. But it'll be good because they'll have his bird rights and stuff like that. So if we ever can't get a starting 3-and-D wing, do you think we should trade for Claxton and have 2 starting lineup changes, add in Jake and Claxton? How far do you think that team goes? It's kind of funny. I actually mentioned Claxton in a video. I don't know if I posted that video or not, but I actually mentioned him the other day. Oh no, I haven't posted it yet because it's actually about, and I kind of made this argument in it, right? Like, my argument was like, wait on the second tier guys. Do you just go all in on like a Nick Claxton and like an Andrew Wiggins if you can? Like, just pony up the first, get in Andrew Wiggins, bring in a Nick Claxton, right? Then you have that defense, that versatility, that athleticism, and then that opens up roster spots to bring in some of your young guys. But remove the Andrew Wiggins from the conversation for a moment, right? Like, Nick Claxton, I don't hate the problem is like, you're going to have to pay DeAndre Ayton next season because, like, I'm not getting rid of Ayton for Claxton, right? The idea is like you could play both, especially the way Ayton's been knocking down the mid-range. I do see a version where you could play both of them. Claxton's ability to defend out on the perimeter, right? He basically is the center version of like a Jared Vanderbilt. His hustle, his rebound is great. Being able to defend, switch 1 through 5. I mean, he's one of the more versatile defensive centers in all of basketball, right? You could do something that like Dallas did where you kind of just split minutes, there's 48 minutes in a game. Claxton gets 24, Ayton gets 24. Obviously, if a guy gets the night off, then one of them goes and plays. You can run Claxton and Ayton together at times and just see how it looks. If it doesn't work, then you don't play it. But maybe you could have something there, especially with Claxton's ability to defend out on the perimeter. I don't hate it. Problem is, do you really want to be paying 40 plus million in centers? Is the problem, because Claxton's making what, 21 million, I think, next season, and then Ayton, you're probably paying in that 18 to 22 million range, somewhere like that. So do you really want to be paying 40 plus million in your two centers? Again, I don't hate it. I wouldn't hate, but the problem is the Lakers would never do it. I wouldn't hate just kind of, especially again, you have Luka just being Luka. Just go with Luka, Jake LaRavia, LeBron James, Nick Claxton, and DeAndre Ayton, and just go big, athletic, versatile, right? That kind of thing. But Lakers won't do that. So again, I don't hate it. I personally probably wouldn't do it. Let's see. Yeah, that was the second into that. LeBron saved the Lakers from losing to the Grizzlies G League team. I mean, there were several guys that did good, but yes, LeBron James was fantastic and helped close it out. When Reeves comes back, who do you think should be the second option? I think you still go back to Reeves. Reeves and Luka, were at one point we're playing very well together. Reeves kind of, part of it could have been injuries, but he was kind of having a little bit of a downward slope. Is that just a pocket? Was that just, again, he's dealing with the injury type of thing? I think you go back to Luka and Reeves and let those two kind of handle the business, because LeBron's just so much better at finding ways to impact the game in other areas, right? And you can always default to LeBron whenever you want and have LeBron run the show. And JJ started to do a better job of kind of mixing those three. Still was a little clunky, and I think it still will be for a little bit. I'm hoping that they kind of figure some stuff out. Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, when they're on the court together, they got to JJ's got to do a better job of getting those three involved in actions together. JJ's done a better job recently of getting Luka and LeBron in actions together, right? So I do think you go into that, because again, you shouldn't have to have LeBron put on the cape every night. Right now, you need it because you don't have Reeves. But when Reeves gets back, that's the whole point. Luka and Reeves get to be the guys. Let them do that. LeBron's going to trickle in. LeBron's going to go get his 20 or whatever, right? But you can preserve LeBron. You can let him kind of, coast throughout the season. And then come playoff time, now you have him, and more. I say it all the time, right? Lakers need Bruce Banner LeBron more than Hulk LeBron. Right now, the Lakers need the Hulk LeBron, right? When Austin Reeves and everybody comes back, and then hopefully some key trades, more often than not, you're probably going to need Bruce Banner LeBron, right? Which is great, but every once in a while, it's hey, big guy, sun's getting real low type thing. That's what I want to continue to see, right? Let Reeves be the second option. Not just that, but Luka and Reeves are supposed to be the future. So you want to see how well can that work, because you might not have LeBron next season. So LeBron is finally waking up. Yeah, LeBron's been fantastic these two games. LeBron is incapable of shooting well from three and the free throw line in the same game. Feels like that sometimes. LeBron actually, surprisingly, hasn't been taking a ton of threes. And I actually thought that this would be his highest, or one of his highest, 3-point percentage or 3-point attempt years. He took 7 this game, which I think maybe he'll start to ramp up. Hopefully he can kind of get in a rhythm, because, especially when Reeves comes back, the idea is LeBron can play off ball, Reeves and Luka do their thing. Another thing I want to mention that I probably should have mentioned when I was doing my little 10-minute thing. Early in the game, Luka was doing a much better job of finding guys, right? I thought he did a really good job, again, to start the game. First, 3-4 minutes or so, I thought Luka was very engaged and active defensively. And I thought he did a really good job of picking his shots as well as getting others involved, right? You got Ayton a couple good quick passes. One of them was just miscue, but he had a couple just nice passes. He had a nice pass to Jake LaRavia. Like he wasn't doing the typical Luka where I'm just gonna take every shot. Like I've never seen a shot I don't like type thing. And he started the game three for three. He missed that three, and then hit his next shot. So he started the game. I think it was 4 or 5 or whatever. And then he kind of like Lakers started kind of slacking, like I mentioned, kind of, slipping back a little bit into their old ways. And then Luka started just shot chucking a little bit. And I was like, come on, man. Like we were doing so good. Get back into it. So I'm hoping that that's something we can continue to build upon. Because we do. We need, Luka needs to trust guys more. Right. What's going on, Drip Show? Appreciate you. Yeah, sorry, I was late again. Great win. Not pretty, but it works. Yeah, like I said, I will take the wins where we can get it. I will take the win streaks where we can get it. It's awesome. Let's go, Tyler. LeBron taking over again, and Luka was great game 2. I'm going to keep saying it. Never want to see Rui starting again. I'm sorry, Rui, no offense. Jake is just that good. Yeah. Again, it's funny. Talked about this in a video. I said I wouldn't be surprised if by mid-season, Jake LaRavia are starting 3. And granted, we'll see what happens when Rui comes back and stuff like that. But I had some LaRavia takes early, in the off season, right? In the summer, and they are aging beautifully. Like don't get me wrong, I have some bad takes here and there, but like, I love when I'm like, yeah, way to make me look great. If Jake literally shot league average from 3, he'd be a certified star 100%. Like he doesn't even have to shoot the lights out. Right? Like even if he could just be 36% from 3-point range, that would be huge for this Lakers team. Right? I mean, he shot 40% tonight. I mean, obviously, if he can be better, if he could give us 40%, that'd be amazing. But I mean, the quality of looks that he's gonna get are ridiculous. Right? Like he's gonna get every night. He's gonna get just the best looks. He's gonna have the best quality of life. I thought Lakers were going to lose this game, but they managed to find a way to win it. Yeah, I mean, when the Lakers got it to 4, going into that fourth quarter, that's when I started getting a little confident because I was like, okay, as long as this doesn't get like out of hand to start the fourth, I was like, Lakers will win the game. Because again, they're undefeated in crunch time, right? So I'm gonna take you to win in crunch time until you prove to me otherwise, right? So it was one of those things where when the Lakers got it close, I was like, okay, we should be good. I like that we won, but the bench is concerning. Yeah, absolutely. Which is why I'm hoping, again, Rui comes off the bench. He's a guy that give you, 13, 20 on any given night, the nights where he's hot and cooking. If he can give you some consistency. Also, you got to keep in mind, you got to remember, the year that we went to the conference finals, Rui came off the bench, right? And he was really good for the Lakers. Jared Vanderbilt started, and Rui was great off the bench for Lakers. So if we can get that again, that'd be huge. This game is a positive. Obviously, a win is always positive, but the Lakers could have easily just packed it in, gave up, and we stayed with it and didn't give up. Let's keep this going, man. Yeah, agreed 100%. This month is very favorable for the Lakers. Lakers could really gain some momentum and gain some traction this month. So I'm hoping that they do. Yes, they were brilliant this game. What's going on? How you doing? I was furious when they didn't call that blatant travel. If that bucket would have came back out of Hannes, I would have been so mad. Yeah, I get it. Well, to be fair, Jake LaRavia had a blatant travel that they didn't call, so I guess it kind of washes out. But yeah, there's moments where you're just like, oh. This dude wet already on here. I wanted to dodge it. Yeah. Hey, like I said, it's good engagement. Let him talk. Let's see. We need to trade Reeves. LaRavia can score and play way better defense. We can get some 3-and-D players for Reeves. I'm not against trading Austin Reeves. Jake LaRavia, love Jake LaRavia. Again, he is one of the guys that I have been incredibly right about. Basically everything that I said he would be in the offseason, he has been so far this season for the Lakers. The defense, the grit, the hustle, right? But we got to keep in mind, Jake LaRavia is 23 years old. He doesn't have a ton of experience, right? Like he's playing more minutes, bigger role for the Lakers than he has anywhere else. Like again, I'm not against trading Austin Reeves, but Jake LaRavia, like you're gonna have inconsistencies from Jake LaRavia. Like next game, hey, he might drop 30, great, but he's gonna have these games here and there, where we're like, oh, like that was not the greatest, right? Because again, he's young, he's inexperienced, which is why, ideally, if you can get that clear cut starter, I think you still do it. But hopefully you can kind of continue to build confidence, continue to build up. Like I wouldn't, like I'm not looking at it as like, oh, Jake LaRavia is killing it, so who, trade Reeves. I don't know if that's exactly what you meant, but that's kind of how I perceive this. Because you said LaRavia can score and play better defense, kind of comparing the two. Like I don't think Jake LaRavia makes Reeves expendable. I think Jake LaRavia makes Rui expendable, but I don't think Jake LaRavia makes Reeves expendable. You still need his shot creation. Still need his playmaking. Again, if you can get that right deal, talked about like a Houston deal. If you get like a Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr. and a, Jay Sean Tate. Sure, sign me up, right? Because now you got the wing depth, now you got the versatility, now you got those things that you need. You could literally start those guys, right next to the guys that you got. Like, I'm not against a trade. Like I've talked about, if you could get Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, sign me up, right? Like, but again, it just has to be the right moves, has to be the right trades. I don't think you trade Austin Reeves because LaRavia is playing well right now. Let's see. Shout out to Ayton as well. He was awesome this game. JJ said he was frustrated. He wasn't getting the ball. But when he got it, he made the most of it. Big defensive stops also in the fourth. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, look, I talked about it last game. Right? A lot of people are down on Ayton because, the previous few games, he wasn't great. Wasn't like what he usually is. And, but again, you have to keep guys engaged, right? Ayton's working hard. He's setting all the screens. He's rolling. He's working his tail off for nothing, right? He's not seeing the basketball. He's not getting touches and whatnot. And you don't have to run plays for him, but it's kind of hard. Like you need to keep guys invested. Like that's the thing. Like Ayton was killing it early in the season because he was invested, right? Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves. I mean, I talked about Austin Reeves and Ayton's 2-man game was great, right? Like, but he was facing, he was giving you, like 15 a night on average just because he was in the mix of it. So you saw him playing harder, setting screens, playing defense, rolling to the bat, like doing all the dirty work. Because again, it's like, you're keeping him involved, but it's like I'm working my tail off on the offensive side of things for what? Right? For me to just work just exert energy just for cardio, right? So you got to keep them engaged. I've talked about it. We had the same problems with Anthony Davis at times, right? Like, and that's not just on the coach. Like the coach definitely needs to do a better job of calling that out, getting that done. I even talked about this with Darvin Ham. The frustrating part was that Darvin Ham kept saying, like, oh, he is an idiot coach that doesn't give him the basketball, and just never got him the basketball. But it's also on your playmakers too, right? It's on Luka. It's on LeBron. It's on Austin Reeves when he gets back. I talked about how many times do we see Anthony Davis have 30 through 3 quarters and not touch the ball, like literally not touch the ball in the fourth quarter. It's like, what are we doing? Right? Like he's your best player. He's killing it out there. And you're not even gonna let him see the basketball. Like, again, it's on the playmakers as well. You got to keep guys invested. You got to keep guys engaged. If I'm just standing in the corner all game doing nothing, like, and I'd never touch the basketball, at some point, it's like you just check out a little bit. Luka takes bad shots. You're starting to see the offense has to run through LeBron James. Luka, I thought, did a much better job this game on his shot selection. But yes, he has overall, he has been, some of his shot selection was a little frustrating. I want that hoodie. Well, thank you. Yeah, the little Friday the 13th hoodie. Yeah, during Halloween time, I got a couple of these. I got that Michael one that I was wearing and some of the videos the other day, and then this one, and then A Nightmare Before Christmas. The Nightmare Before Christmas one is dope. But yeah, appreciate you. Thank you. Yes, sir. We got the dub. Everybody stepped up, but we shouldn't be going down like this to certain teams. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, I'd like some convincing wins. I'll take the wins where I can get them right now. The Lakers have just struggled in not having win streaks, stuff like that. So I'm hoping that this is kind of a building block, right? You just keep building and building upon it. These next games are very winnable. We need to keep getting these dubs. Spurs game, I'm a bit concerned about, especially on the back-to-back. But aside from that, we should win. Everyone need to lock in. Yes. Again, this is a very favorable. Lakers are going to lose games. That's fine. But they had, now it'd be 14 games, but they had 16 games entering this month. I said, I want to see 11-5, ideally at worst 10-6. Right? You should win most of these games. You're going to have games here and there that you're going to drop, and that's fine, but you should win most of them. Ayton is a crybaby. What is Ayton cried about? Ayton didn't complain. He didn't say anything. JJ is the one that said it. Right? Ayton's done everything he's supposed to do. But again, that doesn't, you can be honest and be like, hey, dude, we need to get him involved, invested. Not just that, but like I said, on defense, he's defending out on the perimeter. He's defending and drop, which is going to take away from his rebounding ability. And then also, like I said, if you're not getting him in the action on the offensive side of things, he's setting the screen. He's going to roll. We're taking some ill-advised shot before he's even set and planted. And then you're getting the long rebound. He's already out of position for the rebound. Right. So again, it's not Ayton crying. It's literally the team is doing everything they can to neutralize Ayton. You're bailing out the defense. You're bailing out the opposing team. We also need the 30 seed right now. Yeah, Lakers are right in the thick of it, right there. This month is a good chance to really kind of get on top of things. Trade Rui now. Again, not against trading Rui Hachimura, but it's got to be the right move. Right? I don't hate the idea of Rui coming off the bench. Rui coming off, being the sixth man, being that scoring option. The question is, will he buy into it? He said he will. He said he's okay coming off the bench. But it's one thing to say it. It's another thing, now it's actually happening. And, is he going to be happy about it? Because if Rui buys in, that could be huge for this Lakers team. But we've also seen the other side. We've seen Rui get benched and just completely check out. That's my concern, is him completely checking out. Daniel, what's going on? Appreciate you. Happy Sunday. LaRavia is better. Yes. The Lakers roster is trash. We win in no championships. I mean, I wouldn't say they're trash, but they're a good team, but they're not elite. I don't think that they're a true contender. Yes. No, never say never. Again, Lakers are really good at the things that will happen in the playoffs, right? Half-court offense, mid-range, right? Game slows down, physicality tightens. There's things that really benefit the Lakers come playoff time. Experience, things like that. So, again, I wouldn't sleep on the Lakers. I also wouldn't count on it. I also wouldn't bet on the Lakers, winning a championship or nothing. But don't be shocked if, you get the right matchups and all of a sudden Lakers in the conference finals. Rui off the bench is obvious right now. Yeah, agreed. Lakers are targeting Dylan Brooks. Where's the video? So that is I actually have the video. I'm gonna post it on the now more as it stands. I'm gonna post it on that channel, but they're not targeting Dylan Brooks. It's fake news. So because like I said, I'm posting the video on the other channel, so I'll explain it here. So Bleacher Report released an article a month ago. I made a video about the article. The video is literally a month old. In the video, Bleacher Report, it's essentially 3 players that they want to see the Lakers target, their ideal kind of targets. And it was Robert Williams III, it was Herb Jones, and it was Dylan Brooks. right? Those were the three ideal guys. For whatever reason, that started circulating again. And then it became the telephone game. One person started posting, and then a bunch of, randoms on the X started saying like Lakers are targeting Dylan Brooks. And then it became from Lakers targeting Dylan Brooks to Lakers are in negotiations for Dylan Brooks to it's not true. Brett Siegel came out and said that it's misinformation. I mean, he went on like a rant about it, like posted over on X. You can go see his post. He basically said, that look, it's misinformation and it's getting rampant and it's ridiculous. That's not what it said. Let's just do this. Let's pull it up. Let's see. There it is. Here, I'll just read it to you. He said, where is it at? Darn it. Of course, now there's been 20 different things he's posted. Oh, here he goes. So he said, and now there's, X is added, or starting to add the community notes or whatever. But Brett Siegel said the spread of misinformation is out of hand. This came from a story of them brainstorming trade targets for all 30 teams. So again, it's fake news, right? Lakers are not targeting Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks makes a ton of sense. Phoenix isn't going to trade Dylan Brooks, right? I would be never say never, right? If Lakers came in and were like, here's 5 firsts for Dylan Brooks, sure, they probably would. But realistically speaking, they're not going to trade Dylan Brooks. So that's why I didn't do a video on it, because it's not real. And I don't mind exploring. I've talked about Dylan Brooks in the past, but I don't want to, I never try to present things as like I just take the news that's out and I tell you, hey, this is where it came from. But I also make sure that there's either it's credible people that are talking about it, or there's like a general consensus from, several insiders, right? Like I try to cross check to make sure. So I was going to talk about the Dylan Brooks when I saw the news originally, but then I saw it came from Bleacher Report and I was like, Bleacher Report doesn't really like give information. Like they're usually the ones that basically do what I do, right? Like take the information that's out there and then let you know about it. And I was like, that seems a little odd. And then I like dug into it and I was like, oh, I did a video on the article, right? And then realized like, oh, also Brett Siegel just confirmed that it's nonsense. So that's what it is. It's nonsense. Again, Dylan Brooks would be great, but like I said, I always like to let you know where it came from. If it's something that I'm just like, hey, this is my idea, or like, hey, let's just talk about this guy. Like I always say it in the beginning of the videos, right? Like, hey, this came from so-and-so. This is, there's reports that have came out that said this, or I'm like, hey, what about this guy? I really like this guy, blah, 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 blah. So, I always try to make sure I'm giving you factual information, or at least, if it's just hey, let's talk about it, then I at least let you know that, hey, let's just talk about it. Let's see. Also trade Rui. He hasn't been the same since game 1 against the Grizzlies in 2023. Yeah, like I said, I'm not against it at all. Frustrating, but great game. Yeah, agreed. Again, there was some goods, there was some bads, but Lakers got to put together 4 quarters, right? Like, got to stop here's this and then here's that, right? Like, and people were talking mess about Jake when we picked him up. Again, dude, you should see some of the comments from the videos that I made, right? Like leading into Jake, and then when we actually got Jake, and then I did entire breakdown videos on it. Dude, I was like, people were telling like you're delusional, you're this, that, like, oh, and I was like, okay, watch. I was like, by mid-season, don't be shocked if he's our starting 3, because he's that good. Like he's probably our best 2-way guy already. Like, problem is people don't like. You get a lot of people that don't watch like basketball. Like they'll watch the Laker games or they'll watch whatever. So they don't know. And then you just have the trolls and the haters and stuff like that, which I don't mind. Like when people are like, oh, I don't like, I get comments all the time from people that are like, I have no idea if this guy's good or not. Like, and I'm like, oh yeah, here's the goods. Here's the bads, right? Here's things that, here's both sides of it type thing. But then you get the people that like, have no idea who he is and act like they do, right? That's the thing that drives me crazy when people are like, "Oh, this dude's trash." Like, okay, well, what's trash about him, right? Like, oh, he is like they never have an answer. It's like, so you have no idea who he is. You just heard somebody else say he's trash, so you just assume that he's trash, right? Welcome to the internet. Rui is good, especially in catch and shoot situations. Defense is really not in his bag. Yeah, which is why I don't mind him off the bench. Right? I'm not against keeping him, having him play a bench role, letting him come off the bench, letting him kind of find his spots, his pockets, be more of a focal point offensively. Because the Lakers really need it. Really need it. Luka was actually pretty damn good on defense for most of the time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Luka was engaged. He was active. Again, I'm not expecting Luka Doncic to be our best defensive player. I'm not expecting, Luka Doncic to be, Tony Allen, right? Like, I'm not expecting any of that. Just don't get killed every possession. At least contest. At least close out. At least pretend. Give the, like, it just don't just stand there and just watch guys get blown by, or you just like stand there and do this and then, oh no, like, move your feet. Pretend like you're actually trying. Rui needs to be traded. Again, not against trading Rui. Just, it has to be the right deal. It has to make sense. I don't even get excited, dude, until the game is over. The team has betrayed us many, many times with fake comebacks. So it's best to get excited when the game is over and Lakers beat the other B-ball team. You're not wrong. I don't blame you at all for that. Let's see. Do you really think second-tier guys will move the needle? The whole point of making a trade is for them to move the needle, put us over the top. Absolutely, if you get the right guys, right? Like, PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford weren't looked at as anything like needle movers, right? Like, PJ Washington was looked at as like a Rui situation where it's like, yeah, he can score and stuff, but he's best off the bench. Daniel Gafford was literally a bench center, unlike bad teams. Right? Like, they weren't like looked at as guys. Lakers got Jared Vanderbilt and D'Angelo Russell, and it changed the entire team. And neither of those guys were looked at as like superstar stuff. Again, it's basketball, right? Like, don't underestimate the value of one or two key guys. You go get a Keon Ellis and whatever. If you can get like a Keon Ellis and like a Terrence Mann, like, those are two guys that are gonna be like, again, you're playing 5-on-5 out there, right? So right now, all we have is Jake LaRavia, Marcus Smart, and Jared Vanderbilt. So they have to play so many minutes. They have to exert so much energy, right? Like, game after game after game after game. Right? So, ideally, you want to play Jared Vanderbilt 15 minutes, right? Not 40, right? Like, you want to play Jared Vanderbilt like, hey, here's just 15 minutes, just go all out. Just give us everything you got in those 15 minutes. Or 4 minutes a quarter. So let's call it 16, right? Like, ideally, that's what you want to see. You just want Jared Vanderbilt to just be able to hone in. Marcus Smart, hey, here's 20 minutes and I just need you to focus and hone in those 20 minutes, right? And then have a Keon Ellis that can do the same thing, right? Like, again, Lakers need margin, like help on the margins. Lakers are good in a lot of areas, as much as people don't want to admit, and Lakers are trash and all that stuff. Lakers have a lot of good in a lot of areas. Lakers are a very good offense team, one of the best half-court teams, one of the best clutch teams, all of that. Problem is, the games are over before we know it, because it's all marginal stuff, right? It's defending out on the perimeter, having the athleticism. I've talked about just adding athleticism. Look at what Jared Vanderbilt, how much Jared Vanderbilt impacts the game. And the guy, I mean, recently, this game, not so much, but recently he's been shooting the ball well. But him alone makes this a completely different team. And it's one guy that is an offensive liability most of the time, right? Like, just adding athleticism changes everything. Look at how much of an impact Jake LaRavia is having, right? Like, and he's not like hyper athletic, right? Like, again, don't underestimate the value of a couple guys. You see it all the time, right? Like, you just get these quality second tier guys, right? Again, I think you need 2 or 3 of those guys, maybe 3 or 4 of those guys. Like, I don't know if like one guy moves the needle enough for us to be a contender. I think one guy can make us a lot better, right? But I don't know if one guy moves the needle enough for us, other than like if you get it like an Andrew Wiggins or something, sure. But if you can get 2 or 3, yes, absolutely. I think they can move the needle. Let's see. I would fire JJ and hire Mike Malone to be Luka's coach. Maybe even after on if he's a good coach for us. I disagree. I don't think like JJ's been great. Like JJ's fine. His problem is that like he just doesn't have the roster for what he needs to do. Right. And Mike Malone isn't changing that. Right. Like, and unless Mike Malone is going to completely change the way Luka plays, which I just don't see happening. Right. Like, and you got to keep in mind, Mike Malone was looked at to be fired before they won the championship. If he didn't win that championship that year, he would have been gone years ago. Right? Like dating back to 2020, there were questions about him being fired. Like Denver fans didn't like, again, JJ's fine in those areas. He just doesn't have the roster. Lakers, you look at all the stats with JJ Redick, like he's ridiculous. Like it's just, again, is he a perfect coach? No. Are there things that he does that are frustrating? Sure. Some of the rotations at times, things like that, but he's an excellent play calling coach. Excellent play calling coach. He's excellent at ATOs. Like arguably one of the best in the league at ATOs. He's got the positives, right? But again, you're limited on your roster. I've talked about, I don't care how good the coach is. If you don't have the personnel, it means nothing. Like, what is Greg Popovich? Greg Popovich is looked at as one of, if not the greatest coaches of all time. And 7 straight years before he retired, missed the play-in. He wasn't a playoff team, nothing. Couldn't make the playoffs for 7 straight years. Is he just like all of a sudden a bad coach? Steve Kerr. Look at the disaster the Warriors are. Is that just because Steve Kerr is no longer a good? Did Kerr just forget how to coach? Or is it just he doesn't have the personnel? They're all old and whatnot. Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra is looked at as one of, if not the greatest coaches currently in the league. Like, what has he done since LeBron left? Right? Like, is he just not really a good coach? Man, again, you're as good as your team. You have to have the right players, the right pieces, the right everything. Again, JJ Redick, there's things he needs to improve on, absolutely. But I don't think he's something that again, I've talked about, you're gonna fire him, bring in Mike Malone. What is Mike Malone gonna do that's different, that's gonna change this team? Mike Malone isn't gonna make Rui an elite defensive player and all of a sudden become athletic, right? Like he's not like, is he really going to tell Luka to stop shooting, these ill-advised shots? No, like he's going to let Luka be Luka. So he's still going to like that. So that's not going to change. Right? Like just, again, maybe he makes the offense a little better. Sure. But like he wasn't it's not like Denver was like this elite defense team. The year they won the championship, they were 15th in defense during the regular season, and they were dead last in the playoffs. So, like, again, like Mike Malone's not going to come in and make the defense better. Like, so again, it's just, I see like that comment a lot. It's just, again, it's like, what is Mike Malone going to do that's different? Nothing. Not because there is nothing he could do that's different. They finally did some screenplays with Luke and LeBron. Wasn't perfect, but often led to good things. Yeah, JJ's actually gotten them in action like that a lot more recently, which is good. And it's something that he should have done. Again, you want to be critical on JJ Redick, something that should have happened like immediately. But to get those two in actual 2-man game, get them in some screen action, like that'll only build and get better, right? Like it's still clunky with those two, right? Like they both had a great game tonight, but it's not like super clean, right? Like you're not like watching them like, man, this duo is, I've talked about, there's levels to this. Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves could be great as a trio. Doesn't mean that they're good enough to win a championship though. Doesn't mean that they're elite, right? Like there's levels. JB, have to give Tyler his props in regards to LaRavia. I showed some hate and slander early on. I thought he was on that Gabe Vincent timing, but he's a true solid role player. Yeah, again, a lot of people don't know every player in the league. It's kind of my job to do that. So, I got to make sure I'm on top of it. Like, again, Jake LaRavia was a guy that you watched in Sacramento, you watched in Memphis. Good things happened when he was on the basketball court. He was very good at the margins. He was just very young. And still, like I mentioned earlier, you got to keep in mind, he's young. He's not going to average 26. Maybe at some point, sure. But right now, he's going to have his duds, right? He's going to have the games where you're like, oh, at least offensively. But like I talked about, right? When Rui's offense isn't cooking, what does he give you? Doesn't really give you much, right? Love Rui, but he doesn't really give you much outside of the offense. So if he's not hitting shots and absolutely cooking, it's a bit of an issue, right? You put Jake LaRavia out there. If his offense isn't cooking, he still rebounds. He's a better rebounder than Rui Hachimura. Much better defender than Rui Hachimura, right? Better swing man than Rui Hachimura, right? Like Rui can kind of get a little tunnel vision. Jake LaRavia is just better at all the other things, right? And that's what the Lakers need right now. That's what I thought he would be, right? Like when we signed him, I was like, hey, this guy just made Rui Hachimura expendable at some point. I think this team needs to battle every game until some moves come. Yeah, I mean, it's really what you got to do. So tomorrow, for me, it's already tomorrow, but tomorrow will be 1 month from the trade deadline. So we got a month for something to happen. Hopefully tomorrow we wake up and something gets done. That would be beautiful. But we're a month away from the trade deadline. We have to trade Vando. He can't make layups. I mean, yeah, he would be okay on a vet min. That's the type of player he is. I cannot trade Jared Vanderbilt. Like we need him so desperately right now. If at some point, right, or this season, like if they can get 3 or 4 kind of two-way guys, like legit two-way guys, then sure. But I just don't see that happening this trade deadline. Maybe in the offseason, like let's say they go trade for Andrew Wiggins, this deadline, and then go and sign 2 or 3 guys and then go trade for Herb Jones, then it's like, yeah, sure. Right. Like, cause like, where do you start in Vando? Now you got these guys, like, then sure. But Jared Vanderbilt is literally the only guy we have that does what he does. Right. The offense, I get it. It's frustrating at times, but the dude does so much for this team. This guy we don't have anyone close to him other than maybe a dude Thero, but he's a rookie and he hasn't seen the floor yet. Let's see. I get the contract. He's making $10 million a year. I get that. I probably shouldn't have paid him $10 million a year, but we need him badly. Our defense is miles better without AR and Rui. I talk about 2 of our worst defensive players. Yeah. LaRavia is the only two-way player we got. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Like legit two-way. Yeah. Would be nice to upgrade that bench unit while fixing the starting 5. I wonder if they would be able to pull it off. That's why I've talked. My favorite trade is a Brooklyn Nets trade. Right? Even if you have to give up a first, give me Cam Thomas, Zaire Williams, Day'Ron Sharpe, and Haywood Highsmith. I mean, that basically solves pretty much all of your needs. Right? You keep Jake LaRavia in the starting unit if you want. That is like $32 million, I think, or because it's like $8 million so it's like it's like $32 million. So you'd have to trade Rui in the deal. Right. But like you could do like Rui, Gabe Vincent, and that's what I'm saying. You'd have to probably give up a first, but like Rui, Gabe Vincent, and Maxi Kleba basically gets that done. I mean, Rui and Gabe Vincent and Dalton Connect basically get that done. But you'd also need to make sure you clear enough for a roster spot. So basically, just do like a 4-for-3 swap. You have that open roster spot, and then I'd take Dalton Connect in my second and go get me Keon Ellis. And I think the Lakers are probably the best team in basketball, or one of the best teams in basketball. You get a big bruiser center. You get a just absolute just fryer off the bench, scoring wise. And you get a young athletic 3-and-D Wayne, and then you get a veteran 3-and-D Wayne. And then again, go get a Keon Ellis. I think Lakers are the best team in basketball. Or if you can't get Keon Ellis, get Ayo Dosunmu. Kind of funny that we won't be seeing Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals, Lions in the playoffs. I know, right? Like all the teams that like going into the season that you expected to be kind of the staple and fixture in the playoffs, none of them made it. It's wild. Rui is being misutilized. He's good at defending big men. Yes and no, right? Like he's good at standing his ground against big men, right? But most big men still fry him, right? Like Nikola Jokic, he held his own against, but he was still getting fried, right? He's undersized. If you're running a small ball unit with him basically at your five, like, yeah, you can do it at times, but like, how often are you running that? Right? Like, you're not doing that 40 minutes a night. Like, he's best at the four. That's why I think coming off the bench is great, because if you have him come off the bench, then he can slot in and play the four more, where he's better utilized defensively, and he's somebody that can hit the shots and be more of a focal point offensively and all that stuff. And you kind of mask, and he doesn't have to play out of position as much and all that stuff. But you know, he is out of position. Reeves and Rui for Herb Jones, who says no. I mean, well, Pelicans probably would, because it's a lot of salary they'd be taking on. You could just swap Reeves for Herb Jones. The problem is Pelicans say no, because Reeves isn't going to want to be a Pelican. You got to keep in mind, I see comments a lot from people that are like, who cares what Austin Reeves want? Everybody, right? Because why would I trade Herb Jones just to lose Austin Reeves in the offseason? Right now, if Austin Reeves said, yeah, I want to be a Pelican, I want to stay there, then sure. I think, you know, you probably get Trey Murphy, right? If they were willing to trade Austin Reeves, and Austin Reeves was willing to sign a new contract. Problem is, I don't see, like, if Reeves ends up getting traded, I don't see him being like, yes, sign me up for New Orleans. Let's see. Go Lakers, good win. Get a streak, some positive momentum, good channel content. Lakers, if possible, I should try to get Miles Turner in a 3-and-D wing, maybe like a Keon Ellis. I really want to see a Keon Ellis. First off, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yes, it's good to kind of have a win streak. Maybe again, continue to build momentum. Personally, I don't hate Miles Turner. Like, if you can get him cheap enough, sure, because you can slot him at the four. Problem is, again, you got to play LeBron at the three right now, which I don't think is probably best for the Lakers. And I don't think the Lakers need another big man. Like, the assets, like what you'd have to give up to go get Miles Turner, I just think you're better allocating those assets in other areas, right? Like, if Lakers want to get another big man, throw money in the offseason at, you know, Walker Kessler. I still think he's probably the best fit for what this, you know, as far as defense, being the anchor of your defense, being that ideal kind of center for Luka Doncic, stuff like that. If Ayton can continue to shoot the basketball well, you might even be able to run some two big man game with those two. But appreciate you again. Make Rui the backup for Simple. Agreed. 1,000%. Aaron Gordon is back from injury. Okay, he is back from injury. Okay, good. But like I said, I still wouldn't do that. Let's see. Would love to see Chet and Luka play together. Yeah, that would be fun. Would you trade Austin Reeves for Jalen Johnson? Yes, in a heartbeat. Yeah, Jalen Johnson, I mean, that kid's looking like the next great superstar in this league. Yeah, in a heartbeat. I just don't think Atlanta would. Would love for a center that can actually play through contact and body himself to rim, catch a lob, and maybe most importantly, scare people from running into him. The problem is there's not a lot of those guys in the league, period, right? Like there's not those like enforcers. Right? Like Dwight Howard in 2020 was that guy for us. And he was kind of like the last really guy for that. Dalton pushing Aldama was funny. Yeah. I'm fine with Ayton as long as he's putting in the effort. Yeah. I don't think I'd want to pay Ayton that much. I mean, it's the going rate for centers, right? Like that 18 million range. And Ayton's fine for what you want, right? Like again, I'd like kind of that bruising center on the inside that you can kind of split, but Ayton's really like doesn't need plays ran for him. When he's engaged and invested, he's excellent. He just again, you got to keep him engaged and invested. To me, that's on the playmakers. Like Luka's got to do a better job of getting him the basketball. Not very many centers better than DeAndre. It also would help. Again, if you had actual two-way athletes around him, he'd be much better because, right, like part of the rebounding issues and all those other things is he's playing out on the perimeter most of the time. Right. And like I said, you're setting him in the action and then he's rolling and slipping, but you're not getting him the basketball and taking ill-advised threes. So he's not set to get the rebound. So he's running and the ball's hitting the rim and sailing over his head. And he's like, it's kind of hard to rebound when you're not in position. At least wait for him to get established and in position. Right. Like, and again, it's just teams also are cutting that off when they can, like as far as the lobs and stuff like that. Like, you get the right guys around him, Luka and Austin Reeves. I'm assuming, right? You get two kind of legit 3-and-D guys. Atari Easton and Andrew Wiggins or Herb Jones. If you can get Atari Easton or Herb Jones, DeAndre Ayton will be much better because you won't have to defend out on the perimeter as much. You can run different defensive schemes outside of just drop. Like it helps a lot. Let's see. Luka Smart, AR, Luka have been the best combo so far. So it makes sense. Yeah. I think JJ has been horrible with rotations and getting plays going, but maybe he can sort it out in a couple. JJ Redick's excellent at running plays. The problem is he doesn't run enough plays. He's done a better job recently. Last handful of games or so, he's calling more plays. Like I mentioned, he's probably one of, if not the best ATO coaches in basketball. Like he's really good in that area. Problem is, again, you got Luka and LeBron, and Luka's so ISO heavy. Like you're not running a lot of plays. So I made a video about this. Either A, you need to convince Luka to adjust a little bit and run more action, or you need to just embrace it and just settle it. Right? Like you have two of the best offensive engines in basketball. Again, I don't think any coach is going to be calling plays regularly. Right? Like two of your best. I mean, you're talking about two of the best offensive engines ever. Right? Like most of the time, your best offense is just like give LeBron the ball and let him go to work. Right? But you need to find that he needs to find that balance. The rotation theme early on in the season, yes, I thought was terrible. He's done a much better job as of late. So there is some correction there, which is good. And again, it's kind of hard because Lakers don't have a ton of two-way guys. So it's like, do I want to go with a guy that can defend and not score, or do I want to go with a guy that can score and not defend? Okay, he's kind of trying to mix and match things. I don't think that there's a coach right now in the league that would Lakers would all of a sudden be the best team in basketball. I'm gonna do a couple more and then I'm gonna get on out of here. Sorry, trying to find something to me. 2026 feels weird without Tyler shitting on a reason for it. Again, he's playing well, right? Like, I'm not going to criticize somebody, just criticize somebody. I've always been fair, right? I'm not impressed beating bad teams. Yeah. I don't want to hear none of it. You're not wrong. he was just disappointing, man. He just like couldn't find a shot, right? He was like, again, ideal for what we needed at that time. He just didn't work out at all. We needed a center for the last few seasons, but then we get a center. We don't utilize them with LeBron and Luka and Reeves dominating the ball. The Lakers don't offensive minded center. I mean, yeah, I mean, you kind of ideally want a more like intangible center. You want a more marginal center, right? Like, so in the offseason before we got Ayton, I said Nick Claxton is probably the best center the Lakers could get, right? DeAndre Ayton I mentioned, but Nick Claxton, as far as defense, if you want to lean heavily into defense, Nick Claxton is probably the best at these, arguably the most versatile defensive center in all of basketball. And him and Walker Kessler were like my two kind of ideal guys. It's just Claxton's making so much money. Let's see. I heard Minnesota wants a point guard. How about trading AR for Naz Reid? I wouldn't do that. Again, I like Naz Reid, but you either have to play him out of position or you have to, again, lean into LeBron playing that. Naz Reid, I don't think is the best allocation of your assets. If I'm not getting Jaden McDaniels, I'm not doing it. Like if I can get Jaden McDaniels, I think we're talking. Right? AR has more value right now than Jaden McDaniels does, whether you think he does or not. I mean, Minnesota reports came out. There was like a Minnesota, and I talked about this like a month ago. Like Minnesota insiders were like, Minnesota should trade Jaden McDaniels and some for Austin Reeves because Austin Reeves has more value. And you know, I agree, right? I mean, Austin Reeves is putting up like top 10 numbers, like not all time. I'm talking about like in the league. I mean, the guy's playing MVP level when he's playing. You got to get a couple things. You know, if I could get like, the problem is like you don't have like Austin Reeves makes so little. It's so hard to trade him is the problem, right? Like, because again, they could offer Jaden McDaniels in 5 firsts and you can't do it. Let's see. I don't know if I see a trade saving us. Not only that gets us over the top, winning a championship. We keep making trades every trade deadline and don't get anywhere. Come up short. It's championship or bust. Problem is like most of the keep in mind, right? Lakers made the Westbrook trade. Didn't work, right? So then you had to rectify that and get whatever you could to salvage that. Right? Where key trades, like Lakers were never able to make the proper key trades, right? And the one that I thought was, Genie ended up vetoing. I still think Lakers win the championship in 2023 if they did the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner trade. Because you would have had Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, right? With what Dennis Schroeder still, stuff like that, right? You would have had a very good squad. So you would have been much better. You wouldn't have started 2-10. On top of that, you would have been much better equipped for Denver because you would have had Miles Turner and Anthony Davis to match up against Jokic. Also, the trades that you made before and leading into the trade deadline would have been completely different because you would have needed very specific needs, right? So now you could go and do something. AR would have had his emergence that season, so you would have had AR, you would have had Buddy Hield. Like Lakers would have been probably one of the best teams in basketball, in my opinion. Obviously, we'll never know if that's true. So, point is, I'm getting away from the point, right? Like, Lakers had to rectify the trade, and then they rectified the trade, and then you had this momentum because you didn't have a bunch of tape and film and stuff. So then you ran it back, and then that season there was nothing that made sense for the Lakers, so they didn't make a trade. And then last season you trade for Dorian Finney-Smith, which was great, but you still had 2 or 3 needs that you needed. But then Luka fell into your lap. So instead of going and getting those 2 or 3 needs, you're trading for Luka instead, right? So then that now sets you back, right? You do it all day, including Sunday, but it sets you back as far as addressing the needs that you have. So now this is the first like trade deadline in 3 or 4 years where you have the chance to address the needs. The problem is you don't have enough assets, like very likely, unless you get creative, to solve and address all the needs. But I don't think the Lakers are that far. Again, you're talking about a sport that's 5-on-5. You add 2 guys to your top 7, like that. You don't think that that wouldn't make a difference? Imagine if you added a Keon Ellis and a Terrence Mann, right? Like 2 guys that I think are very realistic. Terrence Mann is like a fringe starter. Talking about a 6'7" guy that could slot at 2 through 4 for you, defend 1 through 4 for you. Right? 3-and-D guy, veteran guy, has experience. Right? Like, and then you add in Keon Ellis. Not to mention, again, those guys are going to be playing much harder, much better, because they're going to be excited. They're Lakers. They're wearing purple and gold. They're contending for a championship, playing with LeBron and Luka and Austin Reed. Like, again, it changes a lot, right? Like, I just don't be shocked. Again, you never know until you're in that moment. But don't be shocked if the Lakers, we get 2 guys and it's like, is that really enough? And then it's like, wow, it was, right? All right, I'm going to do like 2 or 3 more questions and get out of here. Tyler, what do you think? Or Tyler, what do you think has been the best game of the season for the Lakers in terms of effort, defense against a good team? That's tough because there really hasn't been. It's a good question. Problem is the Lakers really haven't been. I'd say probably was it the second Minnesota game? All right, where we had a couple guys miss. I thought Lakers did a really good job. That was the one where like it was just like Reeves. Like I thought Lakers did a really good job as a team, playing both sides of the basketball, keeping guys contained, stuff like that. Let's see. Jake LaRavia is not a starter stop. Well, we're gonna see. Hey, Tyler. I haven't heard you talk about Lonnie Walker at all. Have you ever thought about him as an option for the Lakers? We did. Why did we even let him go to begin with? Seems like he would be a vet minimum. It's funny. I actually mentioned Lonnie Walker the other day in a live stream. Not in the sense of like bringing him back, but in the sense of like, Nick Smith Jr. I made a comparison of Nick Smith Jr. to Lonnie Walker. Personally, no. The problem is Lonnie Walker doesn't really do anything besides scoring. Like that was one of the big problems when the Lakers had him, right? The first go around. That's why he fell out of the rotation. And, I know he had that like game against Golden State that like saved us, but like Lonnie Walker's out of the league for a reason, right? Like he's gone. He's been a journeyman. He's gone to several teams. He's undersized. He's a 2 guard. He doesn't defend. He gets tunnel vision, right? Like teams are going to target him and go after him, right? Like, you could argue there's similar, like a Cam Thomas, for example, right? Like he's somebody that had like, yeah, he's that vacuum scorer, but he can still be a swing man. He can still make the occasional play. He's not really a playmaker, but he can still make plays. Like he can still do other things. He's also more consistent. Lonnie Walker's problem also is he's a vacuum scorer that isn't very consistent at times. Just there's a lot of cons with Lonnie Walker, right? Like, if he's your 15th guy, sure. But like, I'd rather go with Nick Smith Jr. He's athletic like him, but he's longer. He has that 6'9" wingspan, gives you the vacuum scoring. He's younger, right? Like, personally, I would stay away from Lonnie Walker. But I'm going to end it there. I appreciate you guys. Seriously, it's getting late where I'm at, and I still got some work to do before night's over. But anyway, everyone that hung out with me, I really appreciate it. Thank you all so very much. On your way out, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button for me. You people are beautiful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Like I said, let's keep getting these wins. Let's keep stacking them up. But again, appreciate you guys. See you.